You got some picks for us, Caleb. Set me up here. How good do you feel about the weekend? How have you done to this point? As we do have
we're not really going to talk about how I've done to this point, guys.
Right.
I've had a really bad year of picks, maybe my worst ever.
Okay. Well, I was going to tell you that we have a gambling advertiser / sponsor. By the way, support our sponsors. That's why we're free. If you want to throw a super chat in there, you can. That'll go to Quincy Calhoun's college fund. 5 months old now and growing every day. And well, I hate that you say that because we were getting monitored by a gambling site that wanted to be a part of your picks and sponsor your picks. So now that you told them that you're just awful at it, I don't know if that's going to happen. So that could be the end off the hook sports. So no pressure on you, but it needs to get better quick.
Oh, well, once okay, fine. I'll do my best, Dave. We're going to start this week again. It's all SEC games because there's no top 25 games outside of the SEC. College football has a lot of fixing and soul searching to do because of that, because it's only going to get worse. Okay, a lot of SEC teams playing FCS schools this weekend, and it sucks. So let's get started, though, with one game I'm very intrigued by. Arkansas, Texas. I don't know if they're going to win, but I'm taking Arkansas plus 13 at home, and I'm going to take the under 57.5. I think Sam Pittman can make this a physical, ugly kind of game, and Texas's offense has been inconsistent. I'm saying Arkansas covers.
That's hot.
I'm with you. Who's next?
All righty. Louisiana Monroe at Auburn. I think I'm going to go Louisiana Monroe plus 24.5. And I'm going to take the under 46.5 just because I've been fading Auburn all year because they've been awful all year, and I still don't believe in them.
That's hot.
Okay, I'll roll with you on that. All right, who's next?
All right, so let's get some games that should not be played this weekend out of the way. Murray State at Kentucky. Yes, Murray State at Kentucky. I'm actually taking Murray State plus 38.5. And I'm taking the over 49.5. I think Kentucky's so banged up. They're going to let Murray State score a couple of touchdowns on them. I think that's how this is going to go.
Here's what I'm going to do on this. When you get to a game that I have some sort of interest in, I will chime in.
Say wham.
All right, but it's not now. All right, keep going.
All right, next, one more game that I'm sorry I have to do. But Alabama Mercer. I think Alabama covers a 42.5 point spread, and I think they hit the over 57.5. I think Jalen Milroe was good enough for them to just light it up.
Say wham.
Keep going.
All right, Florida LSU. DJ Lagway is playing. So I got Florida plus 3.5 at home with LSU maybe quitting on the season a little bit. I don't know if they win, but I think they cover the 3.5. But here's my big one, Dave. Over 55.5. These are two of the worst defenses in the SEC. Billy Napier's offense has come together. LSU has a good quarterback. I think that I see this game hitting the 80s, honestly.
That's hot.
I like both those picks. All right, Caleb, who's next?
All right. Missouri at South Carolina. This is an intriguing one. Everybody thinks Missouri is going to come crashing down because South Carolina is red hot, and that's going to be the story. I do think South Carolina is going to win, but I think plus 13.5 is a little – I think they're 13.5 point favorites.
South Carolina is a 13.5 point favorite?
Yeah, they are. I think that's a little too high. I think
that's a lot too high. I think South
Missouri,
Carolina winning in like by 4.
I do too. I see like 31-27. So I say take Missouri plus 13.5. Take the over 41.5 because that's way too low. South Carolina wins. They're not winning by 2 touchdowns.
I will go ahead and tell you that I think other than I have a strong feeling on Tennessee, Georgia, and that Tennessee wins. I've shared that with you on Monday. That might be the easiest pick on the board to me, which means we'll both be wrong.
Yes, exactly. And then lastly, before we do, we'll do my best bets and do Tennessee, Georgia. But before that, Texas A&M, New Mexico State. I think Texas A&M covers a 39-point spread, and the game hits the over 54. Texas A&M realizes they're back in the college football playoff race, even with those 2 losses. So I think Texas A&M covers.
All righty, I like that. And let's get to the big-time games that matter. Last Look brought to you by Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn. Look at me, no contacts, no glasses, thanks to LASIK vision correction done locally. Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn.
To visit cctis.com. The information you need is easy to access, and setting an appointment is as simple as clicking the tab. Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn, and Eye Care Optical at cctis.com. Simply the best.
So our poll question that's going to be up on the YouTube channel, we want you to go ahead and take part in that. The Vols will blank against Georgia, and that is win by 10 or less, win by 10 or more, or just loose. This is Vegas still thinks that Georgia is going to win. So I should be in the minority if we have an objective fan base, but we don't have to have an objective fan base because fandom isn't objective. It's short for fanatic. All right, Caleb, what are your best bets of the weekend?
So my best SEC bet, by the way, of all those I just labeled, is Florida LSU. I think the over 55.5 is an obvi. I don't know if you agree with me on that, Dave, but I think there's going to be scoring in that game like nobody's business.
I totally agree with that.
That's hot.
All right.
So I have a best other SEC bet, but we're saving that because it applies to Tennessee. But we'll get to that. But first, best bets nationally outside of the SEC.
It's a good tease, by the way.
Thank you. Cal versus Syracuse. Cal's 9.5-point favorites, but Dave, I'm following your logic. Syracuse has to go to Cal. Fly from New York to California. I think Cal covers 9.5.
Will they leave on a Thursday? That was something that James Franklin did.
I have no idea, but even if you leave on a Thursday, you can be jet lagged until a Saturday sometimes.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about it. I mean, it's just the dumbest thing in the world, the fact that the Big Ten stretches over 4 time zones.
Well, this is the ACC.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The fact that any conference stretches over 4 time zones, it's as dumb as having an NFL team in London. Quality Tire Pros, they're certainly not dumb. They called me and gave me an honest assessment of my car, said we can fix these things on your daughter's car, but honestly, I'm not sure that it's worth it. So we're putting some tires on that puppy and rolling with it. And that's what they are. They're honest, great people. So if you're in the Chattanooga area, stop by and tell Bo that Dave Hooker and Off the Hook Sports said hello, qualitytirepros.com. Who's next, Caleb?
All right. So do you agree with me, Cal covers, since they're at home?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Right.
And I think that's an easy call.
All right. The other one is Louisville has to travel to Stanford. Louisville is favored by 20.5. I say take Stanford plus 20.5 playing at home. Stanford will lose, but they're not going to lose by 20.5.
I'm going to disagree with you there.
That is total bullshit.
I just don't think Stanford has anything going for them whatsoever. All right. Who's next?
All right. Well, okay. So national over under and Superdog for Tennessee. Clemson and Pittsburgh, the over under is at 52.5. I say go way on the over. I think both these offenses will light it up. So both these teams still have outside shot at the college football playoff to play for. This is to go play for the ACC title. I think it'll be an exciting one to watch, but take the over.
Okay. Our poll question: Vols will win by 10 or less. Has 50% win by more than 10. 32% lose. 21%. All right. Who's next, Caleb?
All right, and my under of the week, and then I'll let you. We'll debate on our Superdog because you'd be interested in that. But my under of the week is UCLA at Washington. I say take the under 46.5. I think Washington just plays ugly football in the Northwest, and they'll keep it at the under.
That is total.
Oh,
That's hot.
wrong button. I agree with you on that one. Okay. All right. What's your last super dog?
I got 2 super dogs, and I'm debating which way to go. There's 2 upsets. One of these teams is going to get upset this weekend. I just don't know who. Either Virginia's going to upset Notre Dame or Wisconsin's going to upset Oregon. I'm going to go Wisconsin upsets Oregon.
See, I'm going to go Virginia upsets Notre Dame.
Okay, I can't fault you for that, but like the home field advantage has meant more this year in college football than ever before. So Oregon having to go to Wisconsin, I think, I don't know. I think Wisconsin just got the break speed off them by Iowa, but they had a bye. They were refreshed. Oregon's going to. This feels like that Tennessee-Arkansas game.
Yep. I could see that. Wood Duck says I've got Georgia 42-7. Richard says I've got 27-21 Vols. Nolan says I'm calling my shot. Nico has 180 yards, a touchdown. Sampson has 100 yards and 2 TDs. And Tennessee wins 24-13. I, for the record, have 23-20 is my official pick. Caleb, what is your official pick for Tennessee?
So Tennessee, Georgia. This is the best play of all unders in college football this year. The over under is set at 47.5. I think the under hits easily in this one. I'm like extremely highly.
Somebody told me that you could get that for like 56 on Sunday.
Jesus, who said it at 56?
I don't know, but that to me, if I don't gamble, but there are numbers that I see every once in a while that like I think of firing up an app. And we'll tell you which one next week. But that would have been one of them that I probably would have put money on. Have I ever told you about my gambling, my parlay into gambling.
No, go ahead and tell before I get my pick. Go ahead and tell the story.
Okay, I did like our betting analyst that I know. We may have him on sometime. His name's Tyler Wyatt. He does a great job. So I followed his picks, and he bet on regular season baseball and did really well, which I didn't think you were ever supposed to bet on baseball. That was an impossible sport to win, but that's actually what he did best on. So I was up like $300 just betting $5 a game on like 4 games a day. He calls them units, but it means dollars. So it depends where your level is. And then the Kentucky Derby came along, and I felt sure that this one horse was going to win. So I took all my winnings. I was up $200 just betting $5 here and there. I took it all and put it on a 30-1 horse, and it finished like 8th. And my wife looked at me and said, "That's the end of your gambling. You have your vices, and this is not going to be a new one." So that was the end of it.
Oh my gosh. The rule is you take a certain percentage of your winnings and do it. That's how you go, Dave.
I felt so sure. I felt so sure because the horse was 30-1 when I got it and actually moved to 4-1. So I got great value on the horse. And that $200 would have been what? $4,000. Does that sound right? Or $200?
I think so.
30? I don't know. We're good at writing, not math.
Well, my prediction is yes, Tennessee covers a 10-point spread. I think that's another easy one. Tennessee plus 10. But I'm sorry, guys. I don't think they're going to win. I got Georgia 21-17-ish. I'm going to go 21-17. Georgia
what
wins.
a downer you are.
They're like, that is total.
I'm objective, is what I am. But I would not be the least bit shocked if Tennessee won.
When I am too, and people were surprised when I picked Alabama because I was slightly down on the Vols. I think this is as much about Georgia isn't as great as they've been, just like Alabama wasn't as great as they have been. And I do agree a lot with what Ollie Lane said earlier on the program, and we appreciate his appearance. I think they're desperate, and I think that plays against them in a second half tussle. As we reported earlier, we believe Nico Iamaleava is going to play. I think he will play and play well. I think that ultimately, though, Tennessee will be able to control the clock, run the football, as I like the Cooper Mays versus Nazir. What was his last name again?
Nazir Stackhouse.
Stackhouse. I watched a lot of his tape last night. I think at worst, that's a stalemate for Tennessee, which a stalemate, if you can get one-on-one against a guy like that, that's a nose guard, is a win. Typically, it takes 2 or 3 guys to block a guy like that. I think that can be a stalemate. I think Tennessee's going to be able to run the football. And I think that Tennessee's defense keeps them in a game no matter what happens. And ultimately, I think Carson Beck is probably the most overrated. I don't want to be too strong on this, but how about most overrated household name in the South when it comes to sports? Like, come up with one that's more overrated. I mean, that we know, that was a Heisman candidate, that was a potential NFL MVP candidate. By the way, this is off topic, and I'm sorry to go long here. I hope you enjoy this. I was watching the Eagles game last night. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be what Nico will be in 5 years. Very similar running style. And we can talk more about that at another time. But I think once he puts weight on, Hurts is a big dude. And that's a pretty good comparison. I know he got benched at Alabama, but he's gone on to have a great career. And I think they'll do things in the run game a little bit differently with him moving forward. Now, we're talking about next year, but what do you think about that comparison, just off the fly, off the cuff?
I think Jalen Hurts is always going to be way too limited throwing the ball. Nico will be able to make some throws that Jalen Hurts just can't make.
Okay.
I mean, Jalen Hurts is...
I guess I just meant strictly from a running perspective. The way he reaches, extends plays, he had a key first down on which he reached for the goal line. They just move similar to me. But you're right. His passing arm's probably better.
Yeah, Nico's passing arm's way better. Jalen Hurts is very... I mean, I applaud what the Eagles did with him because, Dave, let's be honest. 15 years ago in the NFL, Jalen Hurts never would have made it.
Okay. Well, I'll take that back. I'll just take it all back.